Here we are live. Hey, hey out there, fantasy football world, double S fans, however many of you they may be, that kind of night, man. That's me, Previn IW Taylor, my man Pete Double S Dukes. We're with the Double S Project, the infamous Double S Project. Going to have a few words about some fantasy football. Yeah, I know it's Thursday. I know there's a game on, but guess what? Y'all already put your lineups in. You've been through week one. Half of you won, half of you lost. It's kind of a weird weekend, more than one way. Pete, how'd you do?
I mean, in our league, I actually won, given the the craziness of the scoring.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, but what about your other leagues? How'd you do in those?
No, only other league I'm in, I won in that league as well. I left some points on the bench because we do. If you score the most amount of points during the year, you get a bonus. But yeah, I've won in both leagues. Tyler Eifert came through. Aaron Rodgers did what he normally do.
Mhm.
But yep,
Yeah,
everything is kosher the first week, man.
yeah. Ironically, in the double S league, I'm in two leagues. One's a double S league. The other is the another league I just kind of jumped into by accident. Both of them on Yahoo. The good team is on the other league. The bad team is in the double S league. The bad team won. The good team lost. Go figure. My opponent in the double S league, he had a bunch of no shows, man. Just terrible luck on his part. And
Right.
and then there was the scoring.
Oh yeah.
um, when I went back and looked at it, the only thing I saw that was there's a couple things I tweaked, and I know what happened during my it was an entry error when I was setting up the scoring tables, and the big one was for the running backs, where normally I award a quarter of a point per carry just to kind of give some value to the low end running backs. Now,
Mm-hmm.
people out there, I've been doing this for a long time and I still make mistakes. And mistake is given the option between setting up your league on your desktop computer and a tablet, go with the desktop computer because there was a change I made and it did not save and I did not find out until I looked at the scores and saw, wow. Um, the only other thing I did that was a little bit different was I was very generous with some of the defensive scoring.
Right.
Again, just to add value of defense. In standard leagues, basically, it's preached that defense is all but irrelevant. Um, there's like almost no difference between the St. Louis defense and I don't know the Jacksonville defense when it comes down to it. To me, that
Right.
never made any sense. And even in the other leagues, I've always kind of tweaked the points for defense so that there's some value in a high end defense versus everybody just wait till like round 15 and then draft the defense or something like that. I've never really been particularly crazy about it.
Right.
So I heard through the YouTuber sphere that one of our double S members was very upset about this amount of points scored against him on defense because he was up against somebody who played the Bengals defense who got a shutout of the Raiders. Well, in the NFL, shutouts are rare. Everybody rolls up 350 yards even on losing effort. These clowns managed not to score any points against the Bengals. So he got like his opponent got like a whopping 25-point bonus.
mm,
Yeah. So I've been kind of putting some feelers out. Pete, we talked about it very briefly last week. Uh, that whole thing with the running backs, is it worth me really going back and trying to change it? I don't really think so. What about you?
no, I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't worry about
Yeah.
it at this point. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's going to be on quote unquote an equal playing field, and nobody
Yeah,
drafted.
I mean,
Nobody
if I was to
really.
go back, right, and if I was to go back and retroactively change the points and the scales would be adjusted, not one single win would change, not one single loss would change. It's all going to be pretty much relative. It's just like a bunch of points. Just everybody's points go down. So I wasn't really sweating it that much. One guy in the league did bring up a point. He was very adamant, excuse me, about maintaining it as it was because he said he made roster moves because to go running back heavy. And I said, yeah, that's a good point. I don't think, but his thing was, and you'll find this interesting. He sets his lineups leaning heavily on projections, and he made acquisitions leaning heavily on projections. And that's not something I know I don't do. I don't think anybody else I even know does. He looked at projections of a running back versus a receiver with that given point scale. You know how the websites kind of algorithm it, over, whatever your scoring is into projections for your respective leagues. And so this kind of augmented scoring for a running back basically added value to running backs over certain receivers, even kind of running back threes and fours over
Mm-hmm.
second, lower tier, third receivers. And he was making moves off of that based off of those projections where I everybody else I've been talking to, kind of getting that perspective was like, no, you don't really quite do it like that. What
Right.
about yourself? You got any comment on that?
No, I mean, I guess the I don't know. It's kind of difficult. Like I said, the scoring perspective. I'm dark, man.
Yeah, you are, man.
Yeah, the
Darkness.
scoring. Yeah, the scoring is it's always relative. I mean, I don't like I said before. It is what it is at this point.
Mhm.
I mean, the players. I mean, you can. I mean, there's certain players that are gonna be type of scoring. Scoring setups. But I mean, at this point, I mean, honestly, you have to just kind of make the adjustments as you go. If you haven't really looked at it, clearly. I mean, in our case, some of the scoring is what it is. So
Yeah,
I guess with my experience, and I mean, folks out there that don't have the experience, you have to just kind of now just go study all of the scores and see where the benefit lies, and then make the adjustments. Based on maybe
yeah,
go make a couple waiver moves. So.
yeah. And another thing too that kind of leads into the next point. It's week one, and none of us still know exactly. Well, I won't say none of us. You got a handful of people that's got obviously those bomb teams. Myself, I've
Hmm.
been saying I got a really bad team. I don't know exactly how bad this team is. It might actually wind up being pretty good. I don't know.
Right.
It usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to really start figuring out if what sort of team you have. So, kind of looking at some of the waiver pickups and everything going on with the Double S League, I saw some things that was actually a little surprising.
Hmm.
And maybe I just haven't been following it as close as I should have been, but I got a life. Um,
That's funny.
outside of fantasy football.
Right.
Man, it was a crazy week too, man. But looking at some of the pickups that's been happening in the last couple of days, guys that I didn't even know were somehow available were being picked up, and then some
Right.
other
Right.
people being dropped. And I asked around, like somebody dropped Ryan Matthews.
Hmm.
And this guy
Hmm.
kind of has a stable of running backs. He dropped Ryan Matthews. So I asked him why. He did it to pick up Carlos Williams. Well, he wanted Carlos
Hmm.
Williams as his handcuff for Shady McCoy. So that made a lot of sense.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, nobody's moved on Matthews immediately, including myself. So I guess there's kind of a vibe out there based on that Monday night game that Matthews is that third dog in the Eagles attack, well behind.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Well, behind Murray and well,
we know what we're talking about.
who was it?
By
Yeah,
Yates,
DeMarco Murray.
DeMarco Murray and Sproles.
Rose. There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
That guy.
yeah. It's late, y'all.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a little late in the week, unfortunately, to talk about who to go pick up. And to be honest, I'm doing a 12 team and a 10 team. I'm seeing more commodities in the 12 team waiver line than I am in the 10
Hmm.
team. I look at the 10 team, you're like, there's supposed to be more talent there. I was like, man, I wouldn't cut anybody I got for this stuff. You know,
Right.
where I'm looking at the 12 team league and I'm like, man, I got to think about this. Do I want to let somebody go, to pick up somebody who
Hmm.
looks like they have some upside, but might not be all that much better?
Right. Right. And I mean, like you said, week one, to me, I did do one move, picked up because he didn't get drafted in one of the leagues in the other league. I don't know if he got drafted in our league, but in
Who
the other
was
league
it?
I'm in, he did. Stevie Johnson, because um,
No, I think he
just
got
looking
picked
at
up.
just looking at how San Diego was running the offense and looking at the stats, Malcolm Floyd looks like might get phased out, and
Hmm.
Stevie Johnson does have. I mean, he used to be a number one type receiver for a few years, so he has a
Up in
skill set to
Buffalo.
be
Yeah.
yeah to be at least a number two opposite of Keenan Allen. So I went ahead and picked him up, and you got James Jones, who didn't get picked up before. It's probably
Well, because that's because he was wearing a Giants uniform, and then
exactly,
when he became a
exactly.
Packer, I picked him up for about 5 minutes and then dropped him back out to. I think I grabbed a running back of some sort.
Right.
Okay, okay. The James Jones question. I almost did a Periscope on it since I have Devontae Adams, and it was almost.
Hmm.
I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, of course you
You
did.
know, but I mean, what you're going to do? You're going to cut Devontae Adams for James Jones when every year James Jones was a Packer. He did the same thing. He would score 14 touchdowns, but he would
Right.
score them all across about 3 games.
Right. Right.
So he'd go
Right.
crazy and have that 3 touchdown day, and everybody would run out and pick him up, and he would give you zero burgers for about 5 weeks straight.
Hmm. Amen.
Is this the same, in your opinion? Is this the same James Jones?
I don't know because I
It's
mean,
too early. It's too early to tell.
well, what happens is when you look at a quarterback like a Aaron Rodgers, Philip Rivers, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, it's really difficult to pick out the number one guy.
Hmm.
But that certain offenses, guys are going to be saturated with balls because their quarterback is going to throw the ball. Usually, those type of quarterbacks 30 to 40 times a game. When you got guys like a Andy Dalton who may only throw at the 25 times, he'll tend to lean on the main guy. So it's easy to grab a AJ Green or a Tyler Eifert. Those are probably the two main people. So James Jones is, I mean, he's a Packer. So if you don't have anything else going at your second or third receiver, might as well pick him up. I
Hmm.
mean,
Even if he's
he's
going
a
to possibly be less consistent than your typical
he'll
third
probably be
receiver.
less consistent, but hopefully you picked up a number one guy that is consistent.
Hmm.
Either a touchdown maker or a guy that that will balance out the numbers for you later on. I mean, like Odell Beckham Jr. This guy's going to get going sooner or later. So you don't get rid of him or you don't move him out of the lineup for James Jones. You don't do that.
Right.
You know,
And
just because he's
speaking
a
of
Packer.
and speaking of ODB, there was like I said, we don't really know what our teams are, but a lot of people got bit by the no show, the big dud, the stud dud on Sunday night. Um,
Mm-hmm.
ODB,
Well, there was a lot of folks that had duds now. I
yeah,
mean, it was a little rough for some stars now. I
yeah.
mean,
Adrian
AJ,
Peterson,
AJ, yeah, AJ Green didn't light it up either. I
AJ
mean,
Green, yeah. Calvin Johnson,
yeah, Calvin Johnson, Jimmy Graham only had the one couple catches and a
but he
touchdown.
did
It
get a
wasn't like he,
touchdown.
um, it's like
I
11
think.
fantasy points, not
Well,
from
you know
Jimmy
what?
Graham
I really
though.
think, but this ain't New Orleans. They're not, the
Yeah,
ball ain't in the air 85% of the time, and the quarterback ain't looking for just Jimmy Graham in this offense. And I
he
was
he
kind of
may
saying, yeah,
he may
Graham is
he
still
may
going to be
he
your
may
top.
need to. He may need
Yeah,
to.
he
Can't
may
depend
need
on
to.
angry.
He's still
Can't
going
depend
to
on Angry Doug, man.
be Angry Doug and Marshawn's moms. But yeah, I was saying before the season, it's like Graham is going to be that red zone target like he was the other day, but it's not going to be just constantly feeding him like it was in New Orleans. I don't think that's going to happen.
Right.
Like you said, they might need to, but that's a different matter. We ain't on that sideline. We probably should be
Right.
on the sideline, but we ain't on the sideline.
Yeah, we probably yeah. Anyway, right.
Yeah. So, anything of note going into this weekend?
I think I would just tell people not to panic if they got certain stars that didn't perform. You got to stick with them.
Gotta
You
stick
got to
with
be
them.
able to, ride it out. I mean, it's fantasy football. You're not going to win every week. You're not going to, but at the same time, you don't want to jump and make too many changes. I will say pay attention to the coaching changes from a defensive standpoint across the league. So if you thought a
Mm.
Denver defense wasn't going to be great, you might want to think about picking them up if you don't
I
have
can't imagine
anybody.
they would still be just sitting around out there after this week.
Well, I mean, think about it. I mean, people might have thought the Cardinals defense was going to fall off, but the coaching seemed like they're pretty decent. The Jets, I mean, coaching makes a difference,
Hmm.
and I would say just pay attention to that. And if you need to pick up, some players, don't panic on the Ravens defense. They'll be fine without Suggs. They'll be
Think so?
fine. Yeah, I think they'll be fine. I think they won't. They won't. I mean, Suggs it makes a difference, but it's not like he's. To me, when he's a great pass rusher, but I mean, the bottom line is that their defensive line was always the key to their success, regardless. Like the DTs, the defensive tackles. So, and it looked like they got
Mm.
a young stud in there now, replacing Nada. So I wouldn't panic
Yeah.
on that either. So just stick with your
And
team.
who's
Just stick
the
with your guns.
second year guy? Damn, well, they got playing middle linebacker solid.
Mm-hmm. Just stick with your guns for right now and see what
Yeah.
happens. Get into week two.
I am guilty of doing that, but perhaps it's because the guy was probably vastly overhyped, and it's also my roster circumstances. Andre Johnson, Major Dud, and the Colts look like they've got some serious issues. So I did bench him.
Nah, I wouldn't panic on the coach just yet.
Well, that's a
I think the
terrible
Bills. I
matchup
think the
as well.
Bills defense. And well, I don't know. Coach going to be at home, so I mean, in the first game,
I
home
don't think
game,
the Jets care.
I don't think the Jets can score enough points to take
Well,
advantage.
my point is, it's Revis Island and a 35-year-old receiver. Even if this is the best quarterback he's ever played with,
Might want to put Revis on T.Y. Hilton.
he's hurt.
Oh, that's right. He is hurt.
Like I said, it's a bad matchup. So yeah, I
For
put
all of
Johnson on the
those,
bench.
just real quick, who's played Peyton Manning this week? He just threw a pick six.
Should any quick words on Peyton? That came up at work this week as well.
Offense pretty soon. A lot of Broncos are going to start getting cut on rosters, including my Bronco, because this offense does not look the same.
Which Bronco you got?
I got Emmanuel Sanders. I got
Mm,
Emmanuel Sanders, and Peyton just threw another pick six. I don't think he's thrown back to back weeks, pick 6 weeks.
I, I didn't
And
even have the game on. Let me change the channel to it.
yeah, no need to start looking at it. It's 14-0.
Oh, man. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a tough one tonight.
Well, I thought they would at least score some points. They're not doing anything with this offense, man. Anyway,
Yeah, I did not get a good feeling in the preseason for how that was lining up, and the way Peyton ended the season last year. I would like to say people can say what they want to say, but you just don't get better at how old is he? 45, 46?
well, wait a minute. That's the point. You know what? This is a different discussion. If you're gonna get on Peyton Manning, the man just threw for. I mean, within the last couple of years, he's thrown more yards than any other quarterback out there. It's not the quarterback. I mean, if you change the offense on any quarterback, he's going to struggle. And
Right.
this offense has changed. Kubiak is trying
Well,
to
I
get
mean,
him
I'm
to
just
do
saying we're
what you'll bring
basically
his
it's the
fantasy
circumstances.
what you'll bring his
And
fantasy value down. And I would tell
right,
people
you
to
got an
let that.
older guy. In the last 2 years, he's fatigued in the second half of the season. And like I said, you don't get better as you get older. And then they change the offense.
Mm,
So basically, that was enough for me to say if I had to go Bronco, it was going to be a running back. But
that wouldn't have been the best choice.
well, I don't. It didn't matter because I didn't get the starter.
Mm.
So
Either
I
way,
got Hilliard, but he's deep on my bench.
man, worst thing that happen is you get a receiver in a quarter, and because they're gonna be playing from behind all the time. So go figure.
Well, now with this defense, they won't necessarily be playing from behind enough, which actually doesn't help things, obviously.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Nah, that's it. I think next week I might come back with some more daily perspective. I've been having some conversations with people.
Okay.
Yep. So, hey, thanks for joining us, everybody out there. Like the video, follow us on Twitter. Thumbs up on the video, please. Thumbs up. We'll repost and put out the what? No JPP thumbs up.
I'm not messing with you on that.
I missed last
That's,
night, so
that's just terrible.
um,
That's just terrible. How about man?
all right then. All right, Twitter, Facebook, we're out there.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.